Hello friends, and welcome to a new edition of Conversations with our elected officials. Today we are broadcasting from the county seat of Dutchess County in Poughkeepsie, New York, and we have as our guest J Molinaro, the county executive for Dutchess County. Welcome to our program.
Well, welcome to my office.
It's nice to be here, mostly because we are so close to each other.
We are.
Our offices are only just 2 blocks away.
And I was happy to be there when you had the beautiful
the grand opening,
yes, yeah.
Of course. For our audience, let's say that Molinaro was first elected to public office at the age of 18 in 1994, serving on the Village of Tivoli Board of Trustees. In 1995, he became the youngest mayor in the United States. He was re-elected mayor 5 times and elected 4 times to the Dutchess County Legislature. And as we said before, he's currently Dutchess County Executive. So impressive, somebody that started at age 18.
Yeah. I will never forget the risk that the village of Tivoli took on an 18-year-old, but Tivoli was like all of those other riverfront communities, sort of struggling to accept change while holding on to its history. And there was a desire to really do more for families and children. I was active in my community. I interned for a woman you might remember, a state assembly woman, Eileen Hickey.
Of course.
And I learned a great deal about public service and this idea that public service is about helping people. So the village, many residents asked me to run, and I in 1994 ran for the village board. My mother and I both thought I was going to lose, and served a year, and a year later, I asked my mom if it'd be okay to run for mayor, and was elected at the age of 19. I talked about this at the State of the County, in fact, this concept that there are 2 great days in one's life, the day you're born and the day you learn why.
Why, exactly.
And I think I learned why. It's public service, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it, but it's what I love.
And we'll go back to that
Sure.
In a few minutes, because I'm also very interested in that. But you have you share that distinction of being the youngest public elected officials with a couple of 2 other people here in New York State that I know of. One was the former mayor of the Village of Tivoli, Mike West.
New Paltz, correct.
New Paltz,
Yes,
sorry,
yes,
in New Paltz,
yes.
correct.
Yeah.
But also, a month ago, we had an interview with Thomas DiNapoli, New York State Comptroller.
Correct.
And he also was elected to his first public office when he was 18.
School board.
School board,
And
exactly.
we
So
both
you both share that same beginning.
We do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when we were talking with him, when I was talking with him, we also commented on you at that time.
Well, I'm a fan of Tom DiNapoli's, and yes, although I'm still the youngest mayor.
There you go. Of course. Yes, that's true. So, having started so young, and you are still young.
Yes.
For what a politician is by all standards.
Sure.
But you have a lot of experience. What experience will you give shortly to somebody that is starting out, that is perhaps thinking that politics might be for them, but they are not sure? They look at what is happening at the national level, at
Sure.
the state level, so much dirt being thrown out, so much divisiveness.
Yes.
And they think, why do I want to do this?
Yeah. It's interesting. 3 things very, very easily. 1, if you don't get involved, other people will, and they'll make decisions for you. So this idea that I don't necessarily want to get involved in politics. Well, if you don't do that, there will be other people who will, and they're going to be the ones that make policy, that make plans, that make proposals, and make decisions that affect your life. Secondly, though, even as whether it's a young person or not, this isn't a game. Public service is a dignified duty. It's a responsibility to give back. And if you want to be involved in public service, you can enjoy the game of politics, but at the end of the day, the decisions we make affect people's lives, so take it seriously. And then last, I say to people all the time, you can do it. You can make a difference. The system needs new ideas. It needs new energy, whether it's on the left or the right of the political spectrum. It needs that. So I think if you're honest and if you're earnest about why you want to be involved in public service, there's an opportunity for that. And there's a great, awesome chance to make a difference. And I never underestimate the value of the work that we do. I never forget who I work for, the people. And I take very seriously the responsibility to serve and to make a difference. And if you come to it with that, there's a chance to do great things. And I tell folks, especially now more than ever, we need people who are going to set aside differences and focus on solving problems in a very honest and earnest way.
So what would be the first step for somebody that wants to pursue this path of service to the community?
They should ask their mother first.
That's a good thing.
If mom says it's okay.
We should always ask our mothers first. Yes.
I think volunteering is a good place to start, whether it's volunteering in a political party or in your local recreation or planning board. There are enough opportunities, certainly in this country, and I know in this county, where you can take that first step. And I think that, I've always done this incrementally, right? I do, my one job was village trustee, and then I transitioned to mayor, and from mayor to legislature to state assembly to county executive. There are people who just jump in. I think that you gain a lot of value and credibility by incrementally learning about your community and the people you're serving. And so I encourage people to volunteer. If there's a young person out there, consider interning in a government office. This county has plenty of intern opportunities. Some are paid, some are volunteer.
That sounds like a good advice for somebody that wants to test the waters.
It is.
Learn from the inside and help along the way.
And that's, I think, a good place to start.
Yeah, and when you started, I imagine that you also had your own mentors or people that you were looking after. I remember when you first started and you were in the village of Tivoli, your association with then Kingston Mayor T.R. Gallo.
Yes, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that relationship, because it was always special from the start.
Yeah.
Although you were both on different parties.
We were on different sides of the river,
exactly.
Different political parties, and different ends of the age spectrum. I was young, and he was a little older.
Yes.
But I think we shared a couple things that I think were very important. We both loved our community. T.R. Gallo was the embodiment of the city of Kingston, and I think people would say that for the years I was there, I was the embodiment of the village of Tivoli in a lot of ways. So we loved our community, and we were really energetic. T.R. was, in a lot of ways, they used to refer to Teddy Roosevelt as a steam engine in pants. T.R. Gallo was a steam engine in pants. And most people who know me say that I'm highly caffeinated, even when I don't drink coffee. So we had a real passion and a real energy, and I think we learned from one another. It was a fun relationship. I'm very sad his life ended so shortly. But it was a very special, I'm glad you mentioned that. It was a very special relationship, and I learned from him, and I think he learned from me too.
And by the way, if 50 years from now or 100 years from now, nobody remembers either one of you for your political career, they will remember you for something that you helped start up and that you gave fire to it, right?
Yes.
What was that? What is that?
The soapbox.
Of course.
The soapbox derby.
Of course.
So this it's beautiful. It's an art. It's art inspired. But yes, TR and I strapped on helmets. We got into a car and down the hill we went. Some people wanted us to break past the hay bales and fall into the creek. Others were inspired by our courage to go down the hill.
I think that was something so extraordinary and so few times seen in politics.
Two people, different backgrounds, having fun doing our job.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the embodiment of what public service, I believe, should be.
I agree.
Because you both were having fun and you were both laughing at what you were doing and you were contributing to society.
I agree. That was fun. I agree. That's what it should be about.
That's true. Speaking about the growing Hispanic population here in Dutchess County and across the Hudson Valley, actually, according to Patterns for Progress, it's the only segment of the population that is growing. in the
region,
Hudson
yeah.
Valley, in the region. Tell me a little bit about the impact of the Hispanic population, its rapid growth here in Dutchess County.
Sure. You know, the Hispanic, our Hispanic residents have always had a real impact on the county, but I don't think, many felt accepted or included, and in many ways, I think we as a community didn't necessarily embrace what was already being contributed. In many ways, in our agricultural community and in parts of Dutchess County, the Hispanic community had already been here and growing vibrant. But now more than ever, as you mentioned, just the growth. I mean, first, from a cultural, religious, and personal perspective, it's just nice to be a more colorful community, to embrace perhaps traditions that are somewhat foreign to some Dutchess County residents, and to welcome what is an infusion of new energy. That's great for us. So that I think ought to be celebrated. At the same time, in 2018, we ought to recognize that there are too many in the Hispanic community that still feel and do feel that they are left out, whether it's national policies and national politics that frighten them, or barriers that exist in the community in accessing services and support, and not feeling entirely included. So it's a great opportunity. The growing population is a great opportunity, but it's also a challenge that we have to embrace and make it really truly celebrate the inclusion of all residents, recognizing that the Hispanic population really does offer such a special opportunity for us, and we need to do more to be more accepting and more inclusive.
Yeah.
One little story that you don't know,
Yes.
I would tell you, and I don't mean it to sound at all trite or dismissive, but my first job was making deli sandwiches and flipping pizzas at the Tivoli deli. And I worked for a wonderful Puerto Rican family that, I tell you, it included me in many family and holiday celebrations, and it was an experience that, you know, an Italian boy from Dutchess County wouldn't have gotten any other way, and it was just a very special relationship that I maintain today. I see many of their children and family members that I worked with, and I'm glad I had that life experience, and it's one that I think the more we break down barriers and learn from one another, the better off we are.
Okay, excellent. And now, yes, we can talk a little bit about purpose before politics.
Yes.
Which is the hashtag for your State of the County address.
Yeah.
But rather than talking about the State of the County address, let's talk about the hashtag, purpose before politics.
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned, when somebody finds their purpose in life, you almost have achieved some fulfillment. And what we mean and what I mean by this is every life has purpose. Every individual has some value to contribute, whether it's to their family or to their community. Today, we are living in a time of great turbulence in our politics, anger in our speech, and in some ways, just outright disrespect toward one another. And we seem to have allowed politics and the differences that exist in politics to take over the way we make decisions. And we've lost, in many ways, this ability just to work together. Purpose before politics suggests that we all have something to contribute, we all have something to add, and that should come first. And let the politics come later. Let's set together on a mission to work together to accomplish certain things. As families, we have to do this. In neighborhoods, we have to do this. And as community and in government, we have to do it. So for me, purpose before politics means that someone in my role needs to set aside the things that may make me different from someone else and focus on what is in the best interest of the people we serve, and find ways to say to every citizen of Dutchess County, and I think every elected official should say to anyone they serve, let's figure out ways to work together to solve problems. And that is the greatness of America, and it's really the greatness of our society. We tend to want to work together, to unite, to accomplish certain goals, and if we put purpose before anything else, we can achieve that, and at the same time, see the humanity that exists in everyone.
Purpose before politics. It sounds like words from a spiritual person.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a spiritual person?
Very much so. very much so. And I think you know a little bit of that. No, I think we all have a reason to be on this planet, whatever God you pray to and whatever religion you happen to subscribe to. We have a very special opportunity in this life to make a difference, to impact others. If we see each other for the human individuals we are, if we respect one another, and if we recognize that we're not in control. For me, it's Christianity. I am a Christian. Mm-hmm. I'm not in charge of anything. I've been given some freedom to make choices, and I want those choices to be as helpful as they can be.
Well, the Native Americans who were here before a lot of us,
yeah.
Immigrants that came to this country,
all of us
your
immigrants.
family, all of us immigrants, they already said it hundreds of years ago. We are only caretakers of what we pass on through life.
Indeed,
right?
indeed.
But going back to politics a little bit now, you mentioned that over your career you like to do things incrementally.
Yes.
So now you are county executive. You have been county executive how many times?
Well, it's my second term, 7th year. Yeah.
Okay. So what comes next for?
There are two things that have governed me in politics. One is advice my granddad gave me: do your job well, and they'll consider you for a promotion. And the second, which I really believe in entirely, it's not up to me. Whatever is next is up to the voters. It's no secret that I thought very carefully about running for governor. I still would like that opportunity someday. I think that I think I have something to offer the people of the state of New York. If that day doesn't come, I will know that I've had the greatest privilege and the greatest honor of my life, which is to serve my community. Well, I guess you never know. But I'll keep doing my job, and maybe someone will consider me for promotion.
Very good. It means that we can expect to have many more years of public service from Bart Molinaro.
And many more interviews.
Many more interviews, of course. And on that note, and to end up this program, something that we ask of all our guests. Who is Marcus J. Molinaro?
Son, a husband, and a father. Everything else is temporary. The rest of that is permanent.
Very good. Well said. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And this has been Conversations with Our Elected Officials. I'm Enrique Roblunski for ABC Latino Media Network. Till the next time.